Chosen one, heaven has been watching. The whispers in the spirit, the warfare in the silence, the nights where your tears spoke louder than your words. None of it was wasted. You were being positioned for a moment like this. Not a moment to hide. Not a moment to bow, but a divine explosive moment where God flips the script and the very ones who doubted you, betrayed you, and counted you out will witness your promotion. This word is not for the crowd, it is not for the comfortable, it is for the called. And you, chosen one, are the called. This is a prophetic interruption. This is your confirmation. This is heaven speaking directly to the ones who've been buried in silence, misunderstood in transition, and mocked in isolation. You've been walking through a season that didn't match the promise. You've seen people rise while you were left in the shadows. You've kept quiet while your name was twisted. You've suffered well and in secret, but God says this silence was strategic. This hiding place was holy, and now this is the hour of divine revealing. Your enemies will not be removed. No, they will be seated front row, not to mock, but to witness, not to celebrate, but to watch in awe as the hand of the Almighty places you in the very position they tried to block. This isn't just a promotion, this is proof that the hand of God is on your life, proof that favor follows obedience, proof that rejection can't override divine selection. Chosen one, you were never meant to fit in. You were never meant to be liked, applauded, or understood by those still living in spiritual blindness. You were meant to be set apart, raised up, and put on display as an instrument of God's justice and glory. But listen closely, because this moment carries spiritual weight. This isn't a casual word. This is a critical alignment in the Spirit. If your heart is open, if your soul is ready, then you're standing at the edge of the very season the enemy swore you'd never see. Right now, heaven is shifting things in your favor. Right now, the same mouths that tried to curse you are about to be silenced by your breakthrough. Right now, God is preparing the stage, and you, chosen one, are the main event. But hear this clearly. What you do in this moment matters. This is not the time to doubt. This is not the time to retreat. This is the time to stand tall, to activate your faith, and to seal this prophetic word in the Spirit. So if this word resonates with your spirit, if it stirs something deep within you, like this video, subscribe, and most importantly, comment below right now. They'll see me rise by God's hand. This phrase isn't just a sentence. It is a spiritual declaration. It is a prophetic sword. It means you agree with heaven's timeline. It means you've released the pain of your past and stepped fully into the promise of your future. It means your rise will not be by luck, not by manipulation, not by anyone's favor, but by the hand of God alone. And that, chosen one, is what terrifies your enemies, because they knew you were gifted. They knew you were different. But what they didn't expect was that God Himself would back you. So declare it, seal it, stand in it. They'll see me rise by God's hand. Now prepare your spirit, because what's coming next will shake your soul, sharpen your faith, and open your eyes to the divine strategy behind every delay, every betrayal, every tear. Chosen one, you must understand, God did not forget you in the hiding. He concealed you on purpose. You weren't overlooked. You were preserved. You weren't discarded. You were being divinely protected from premature exposure. You were hidden beneath the shadow of the Almighty, not to be ignored, but to be refined, reshaped, and reintroduced in the fullness of time. The world thought you were finished. Your enemies thought they'd silenced you for good. They mistook your quiet season for weakness, but God was writing a story behind the veil, a sacred preparation that only heaven could see. Just like Moses was hidden as a baby in a basket, floating down the Nile River, while Pharaoh's soldiers searched to destroy him, you too were kept out of sight, away from eyes that could not comprehend your purpose. You were hidden in plain sight, so the enemy could not touch you before your time. Isaiah 49:2 declares, "In the shadow of his hand, he hid me. He made me into a polished arrow and concealed me in his quiver." That's what you are, chosen one, a polished arrow. Not abandoned, but aimed. Not wasted, but waiting for the exact moment when heaven says, "Now." The pain you felt while waiting was never punishment. It was prophetic calibration. You had to be sharpened in silence. You had to be sanctified in solitude. And now the quiver opens. The hand of God reaches in, and you, the arrow, are about to be released publicly, powerfully, purposefully. Don't be surprised when the stage looks familiar. God is bringing you back to places where you were once rejected, so they can see who you truly are. They will not recognize you because you've been transformed by glory. You are not the version they left behind. You are the revealed version God always intended to showcase. And when they see you now, they will realize it was never about them. It was always about Him. Chosen one, your concealment was a strategy. Now comes your holy emergence, and when God reveals you, He does it with undeniable power. You've been prepared in the dark to be presented in the light. You've been humbled so deeply that pride cannot follow you into this new elevation. You've been broken in places that now shine with supernatural oil, an anointing not bought or borrowed, but birthed through fire. So lift your head, take a breath. The silence is lifting, the curtain is rising, and your enemies, they will watch it all unfold. Because this isn't just your promotion, it's their confirmation that God was with you the whole time. Now lean in, chosen one, because it gets deeper, it gets heavier, and it gets holier. God has prepared a table for you. Yes, you. Not in secret, not in the wilderness, but right in front of those who tried to destroy you. Psalm 23:5 proclaims it clearly. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. You see, God isn't trying to avoid confrontation. He's orchestrating a revelation. He's not just giving you a table, He's giving them a view. They need to see you blessed. They need to see the oil on your head. They need to see the favor that follows you, not because of their validation, but because of your obedience to God's process. God is not intimidated by your enemies. He uses them as witnesses to your breakthrough. Imagine Joseph's brothers, the very ones who threw him in a pit, standing in front of him in Egypt, starving, desperate, and unaware that the one they betrayed was now the one appointed to feed them. That is divine reversal. That is what's happening to you. Your pit was never permanent. It was a passage. Your prison wasn't the end. It was preparation. And now the palace is your portion, and your enemies will stand there, stunned, as God sets the table. You won't have to explain a thing. You won't have to clap back. Your presence at the table will be the loudest sermon you've ever preached. God is not asking for their permission. He is declaring His sovereignty. He is showing them that when He favors a person, no weapon formed can prosper, no slander can stick, and no curse can compete with the blessing of the Lord. This is not about revenge. It's about redemption. This is not about proving them wrong. It's about proving God right. This is not about gloating. It's about glorifying. Glorifying the one who brought you through the darkest nights. The one who held your broken heart together when betrayal felt like a knife. The one who turned your tears into oil and your wounds into warfare. He is the one setting the table. And your enemies will not just hear about it, they will see it with their own eyes. Let that truth settle in your spirit, because the presence of your enemies at the table is not a threat, it's a prophecy being fulfilled. And now, chosen one, we must go deeper still. You've endured rejection that cut so deep, it made you question your very value. You were left out of rooms you were qualified to enter. People you trusted dismissed you. Opportunities crumbled, doors slammed in your face, but through it all you survived. Why? Because that rejection wasn't meant to define you, it was meant to redirect you. Sometimes God allows people to push you out so He can pull you in. Rejection is one of heaven's most misunderstood blessings. It feels like a curse, but it is really a compass, a spiritual redirection system that ensures you don't settle in places too small for your anointing. Remember, Joseph again, his brothers rejected him, his master's wife lied about him, the prison system forgot about him. But none of those closed doors stopped the hand of God from promoting him. In fact, every act of rejection was a reroute to the throne. So let this penetrate your soul. You were never rejected, you were rerouted away from shallow approval into deep purpose, rerouted from counterfeit connections to covenant alignment, rerouted from dependency on people to total reliance on God. And that's why your enemies won't understand your next season. They think they canceled you, they think they shut you down, but all they did was create space for God to raise you up. Their rejection was the shovel. God used it to dig the foundation of the stage you're about to stand on. So forgive them, not for their sake, but for yours. Because you are too anointed to carry bitterness into your blessing, and when you walk into your next season, whole and healed, the shock on their faces will be part of God's justice. Chosen. 1. Your scars are not a sign of shame. They are proof that the attack didn't work. And now every no you endured will bow in the face of God's resounding yes. Get ready, because you're about to walk through doors that were once shut, sit at tables you were once denied, and thrive in places where they hoped you'd fail. And now we move forward, because your story didn't end in the pit. Your journey didn't stall in the silence. The crown is coming, the robe is ready, and heaven is about to announce you. Chosen one, what's coming next will be the fulfillment of every silent season you thought would never end. This next chapter is not something you have to chase. It's already been written, already been scheduled, already been set aside by God Himself. And now, heaven is clearing the path for your arrival. You've cried for it. You've prayed for it. You've fasted and warred in the Spirit for it. And now God says the crown fits. You've been through the crushing. You've endured the pressing. And like pure oil flowing from olives, what came out of your pain was not just tears, it was power. You can no longer shrink. You can no longer bow to the old version of yourself that once sought validation from those who never saw your worth. The old you would have apologized for your greatness. The old you would have minimized your brilliance. But not anymore. Because now you've outgrown their lies, you've outlived their betrayal, you've outlasted the storm that was sent to wipe you out. God is placing a crown on your head that no man can remove. Not because you're perfect, but because you are purposed, because you stayed faithful when it felt foolish, because you didn't quit even when quitting seemed easier than breathing. Chosen one, you were always meant to rule, you were always meant to lead. The crown didn't suddenly appear, it's been waiting for you to grow into it, and now the robe is falling on your shoulders. The ring is being slipped on your finger, and the heavens are proclaiming, "This is my beloved in whom I am well pleased." Don't look back. Don't water down what God is doing. You are royalty. You are anointed. And the throne was always yours, and now your voice, once silenced by fear, once muted by rejection, is becoming a weapon. No longer a whisper, but a war cry. No longer trembling, but thundering. Your voice is not just meant for survival. It's meant for dominion. It's meant to speak what heaven speaks. It's meant to shift atmospheres. It's meant to wake up those who have been sleeping on their assignments. Joel 2:1 says, "Blow the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm on my holy hill." Chosen one, you are that trumpet now. God has placed divine authority in your words. You don't just talk, you prophesy. You don't just express emotions, you release movements. So speak boldly, speak with fire, speak with the confidence of someone who knows that all of heaven backs you. Because your words are birthing change, your declarations are shaking strongholds, every lie they spoke about you, dismantled. Every limitation they placed on you, broken. Every doubt you once held, destroyed in the light of divine truth. You have become a vessel of victory, a trumpet of truth, a weapon of war, and now comes the moment heaven has promised. Since the beginning, recompense, not just restoration, but overflowing repayment. Hebrews 10:35 declares, "Do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded." Chosen one, you are stepping into a divine payback season. The years they stole from you, restored. The energy you poured into dead-end relationships, recycled into divine acceleration. The betrayals you endured. In silence, redeemed by heaven's justice. This is the era of divine recompense. God is not just giving you what was lost. He is giving you more than what was stolen. He is adding weight to your name. He is giving you influence in rooms you never had access to, and every person who doubted you will see it. Not because you asked for revenge, but because God is a righteous judge. He doesn't forget what you went through. He doesn't ignore what you endured. He repays, he restores, he reverses the damage. This isn't just about favor. This is recompense with interest. This is the payback for pain, the settlement for suffering, the reward for remaining. It is coming. It is sure. It is written. It is certain. And now, chosen one. What once tried to destroy you will be used as your footstool. Psalm 110:1 says, "Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool." Do you feel the shift? Those who tried to bury you, they became the soil God used to grow you. Those who tried to step over you, they will become the very platform that elevates you. Those who tried to block your way, they will be the foundation. Under your feet when you rise, God is not asking you to fight this battle with bitterness. He is asking you to walk boldly in your victory while He makes your enemies kneel beneath your purpose. Your enemies are becoming stepping stones. Your past is becoming prophecy. Your pain is becoming a platform. And you are becoming the evidence of God's glory on earth. You are the proof that heaven never forgets. You are the living testimony that obedience leads to overflow. You are the sign that promotion doesn't come from man, but from God alone. You, chosen one, are a billboard for God's justice, a reflection of His faithfulness, a declaration of His power. It is certain, it is written, it is confirmed. Your moment has come. Overflow, overflow, overflow. Favor that cannot be hidden. Blessings that cannot be contained. Honor that cannot be denied. You are not waiting for it anymore. You're stepping into it. And this is not just your resurrection. It is your public unveiling. This is your Lazarus moment, when the stone is rolled away and the crowd gathers to witness the one they buried rise again. You are coming out. You are rising up. You are being announced not by people, but by God Himself. And the same ones who wept at your grave will now tremble at your awakening. This is your time. This is your table. This is your throne. And yes, chosen one, they will witness every second of it. Now let your spirit receive this fully, because the conclusion of this message is not the end. It is the unfolding of your next beginning. Chosen one, there's something you must understand. This moment isn't just about a rise. It's about divine proof. You are not just being lifted, you are becoming the evidence of God's glory on earth. Every person who questioned your calling, every voice that mocked your silence, every eye that rolled when you spoke in faith, is about to see with trembling awe what the hand of the Lord has done in your life. You are not hoping anymore. You are not begging anymore. You are stepping into proof. Isaiah 61 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This is not poetic imagery. This is prophecy fulfilled. Your light is not coming, it has come. Your radiance is no longer hidden. The favor resting on your life is undeniable, unshakable, unstoppable, and the world will see it. God is making you a living epistle, a divine letter written in miracles and sealed in mercy. You won't have to say a word. Your life will speak. Your transformation will echo through every space your name enters. And no demon in hell, no whisper in the dark, no lingering shadow from your past will be able to silence what God is declaring. Through you, you are the proof that faith still works. You are the proof that surrender still wins. You are the proof that when God marks you, no one can erase you. Chosen one, this is not your imagination. This is a divine unveiling. The curtain is lifting, and the light that hits your face is not just the light of a new season, it is the light of resurrection. Yes, resurrection. Because what's coming next is not just breakthrough, it's rebirth. You are walking into your Lazarus moment. The world thought you were done. The enemy thought he had sealed the tomb. The people around you wept like it was over. But here comes Jesus, calling you by name, standing at the mouth of your grave, commanding the stone to be rolled away. He didn't whisper. He didn't knock softly. He shouted, "Lazarus, come forth." And just like Lazarus, you're not walking out timidly. You're not crawling. You're rising, grave clothes falling, old labels burning, new glory clothing your frame. Chosen one, this is public resurrection. They'll see it. They'll hear it. They'll witness the return of one they tried to erase. And when they ask how, all you'll have to say is, God spoke, God moved, God lifted. This is why you were kept hidden. This is why you were preserved in the tomb a little longer than expected. Because when you rise, it won't be just for you. It will be for His glory. And every witness will say, "Surely the hand of the Lord is upon them." You've reached the moment where heaven meets earth. You've stepped into the hour that generations before you prayed would come. You've crossed over the line of delay, and now the rising begins. Chosen one, everything in your life has been moving toward this divine climax, this crescendo of purpose, this roaring wave of glory that will not be held back. God did not bring you this far to drop you. He did not allow all the shaking just to leave you empty. The suffering was not the final word. Glory is, and not just a glimpse of glory, but overflow, overflow in influence, overflow in peace, overflow in wisdom, overflow in provision, overflow in supernatural favor. This isn't a trickle, it's not a half portion. It's the pressed down, shaken together, running over kind of overflow. It is certain. It is confirmed. It is sealed. It is done. The ones who betrayed you will watch you blessed. The ones who doubted you will watch you thrive. The ones who waited for your fall will witness your flight, and it will not be because you forced it. It will not be because you manipulated it. It will be because God authored it. You didn't chase this moment. You were chosen for it. You didn't earn this honor. You were born into it. You didn't make it happen. He did. You are meant for this. You are made for this. You are mantled for this. Chosen one, your promotion is not a possibility. It is a prophecy, and that prophecy is unfolding now. Heaven's gavel has struck. The decree has been sent. And your enemies will watch as the King of Kings, exalts you with his own hand. They won't be able to stop it. They won't be able to spin it. They won't be able to silence it, because what God is doing is so public, so profound, and so powerful, it will mark generations after you. It will be written into legacy. It will echo through your bloodline. This is not just about vindication. This is about divine demonstration, overflow, 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 victory after victory, glory after glory, favor upon favor. And now, as heaven positions you, as angels align with you, as doors swing open for you, remember this one truth. It was never about you proving yourself. It was always about God proving his promise, and he has. Your enemies will witness it. Your family will witness it. Your city will witness it. The earth will witness it. Chosen one, you were born for this moment, and now it has arrived. Chosen one, hear this with your spirit wide open. God is not preparing to promote you. He already has. The shift has happened in the spirit, and now the manifestation is moving into the physical realm. The tables are turning. The curtains are opening. The stone has been rolled away. And what was once buried is now being revealed with glory. The core of this prophetic word is simple but mighty. Your enemies will witness your promotion, not just because of who you are, but because of who God is. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about arrogance. This is about divine justice. You were hidden, but not forgotten. You were rejected, but not removed. You were bruised, but not broken. And now, the same God who allowed the pressing is releasing the promotion. The same God who permitted the pain is sending the promise. The same God who saw every lonely night, every tear-soaked prayer, every whispered, "Why?" That God is standing you up before a watching world. He says, "I will lift you in front of those who counted you out, not to embarrass them, but to glorify me." You are not rising because of them. You are rising because he never let go. They tried to define you by what you lost. God is about to redefine you by what you're about to gain. And let me say this prophetically, no lie can stop your truth. No curse can cancel your call. No delay can deny your destiny. Chosen one, you are entering a season of visible favor. A season where rooms open not because of who you know, but because of whose you are. You carry heaven's mark. You carry the oil of endurance. You carry the fragrance of the fire you survived, and now you carry the weight of glory that only those who stayed faithful can bear. This is your moment of public confirmation. You are the David anointed in the field, now being summoned to the throne. You are the Esther once orphaned, now crowned for such a time as this. You are the Joseph betrayed, now positioned to save nations. And none of this is by accident. Every betrayal was part of the blueprint. Every delay was part of the design. Every closed door was holy construction to build your resilience. So lift your head, wipe your tears, stand in divine confidence. Because this time, you're not going to knock on doors. They're going to swing wide open before you. This time, you're not going to beg for seats. You're going to be seated at the head of the table God built for you. And they will see it. They will watch it. They will witness your rising. God says, I prepared the table in their presence because I want them to know. I chose you, chosen one. Your name is being called in rooms you've never entered. Your face is being remembered by people who once overlooked you. Your destiny is echoing through corridors of heaven. And now the earth is aligning to the sound. Promotion is not coming. It is here. And nothing can stop it, not your past, not your fear, not your flaws. Because what's on your life is not man-made, it's God-given. The anointing has already been poured. The gates have already been opened. The promise has already been signed by the hand of God. So this is your moment to receive it. Not with hesitation, not with doubt, but with bold prophetic faith. Say it, declare it, breathe it. This is my time. My enemies will witness my rising. God is lifting me now. Let your spirit agree. Let your heart rejoice. Let your faith arise. And now take a prophetic action to seal it in the atmosphere. Comment below. I receive it as your declaration of faith and spiritual agreement. Let that be the echo of your spirit. Let that be the cry of your destiny. Let that be the sound that shakes the heavens and silences every lie spoken over your life. Chosen one, you are rising. You are walking into what eyes have not seen. You are stepping into rooms that hell tried to keep you out of, and you will not walk in silently. You will not enter shamefully. You will enter crowned in glory, wrapped in favor, backed by heaven and anointed for visibility. The tables are set, the doors are open, the watchers are gathering, and the God who sees all is now showing all. This is your hour. This is your unveiling. This is your divine recompense. And yes, your enemies will witness your promotion. Chosen one, it is done. Your miracle begins now.